G'day, mates. It's your host, Mary O'Neill Phillips, and you are listening to Country Outdoors Podcast. Got the flight this morning in from Tupelo, which is a little regional airport. It was a $90 flight, 30 minutes.
Really?
Literally 30 minutes. I was up in the air, and then it starts going like this, and I held on because I didn't realize we were going down.
Yeah.
I was like, like this, and the guy's like, we're just coming in for landing. I'm like, we've been in the air for 10 minutes.
Was it like a commercial jet?
Just a little regional one.
Oh, okay.
It was like 3 seats, tiny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like 50-seater.
But they just go to like a few different places.
And it was $90. So it was literally like down.
Yeah. Golly.
It was great. And
That'd be awesome.
I landed.
You could live down there and like come up here and right, whatever. Shoot back down for $90. That's not bad.
And it's 3.5 hours in the car.
Yeah.
So it's like not bad drive either.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just like it's
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I'm happy for y'all.
Thanks.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get cooking on you because there's so much to talk about. I mean, I feel like the last time we really caught up was either at Dylan's engagement party or NWTF, but I really haven't had like a good chance to just sit down and like catch up with you. And, you know, I obviously have seen everything like social media wise, what has been going on, but there's bigger stories behind a lot of it. And, you know, you've always been good to talk to about like the spiritual world and what's been going on there, but like obviously Kingdom Country. And I know that's like I've seen a lot of that on social media, but kind of I want to go into that story on what transpired for you to get there and kind of like shift from like mainstream country into Kingdom, which it makes sense, honestly. It makes so much sense for you because you've always had Christ at the center of everything you were doing anyway. But like tell me that whole story.
It's a long one. I'm trying to think where to start. So I would say to catch up quickly, back in August of 2022.
One sec.
Is that my phone? Totally turn that off. I apologize.
That's right. And we'll grab those coffees too, and then. Thank you, Ty.
Yes, they're hot and they're full.
Great.
Here's a spot for you to edit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're doing the podcast this season more Rogan style.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So everyone will hear us slurping.
Love that. That's
ASMR.
I'll make sure to slurp extra loud. Corey hates that so much. I can't even eat cereal with her.
That's so funny.
But so about August of 2022, I realized that long story short, the place I was at in career, like just management and all the whole nine, was just like not right. Yeah. And there were some things going on. I was like, I've got to reset here. So I get out of my old situation.
Situationship.
Yeah, whatever that was. And that was August, 22. And from then until February of 23, I felt this calling to start Row Ministries.
Mm-hmm.
And that was confusing because that had nothing to do with music, but I just felt like I was supposed to do that. And like it was just supposed to be community for people within the music industry, whether you're a songwriter, manager, artist, whatever the case may be, but to come together as brothers and sisters in Christ and just put all what we're doing aside and just get into the Word together.
And when you started that, did you have kind of a blueprint on, okay, we're going to meet like once a week and I'm going to do a Bible study, or like what was your kind of goal with that?
No, I really didn't. I'm an overthinker by nature, and so I thought about that for months, trying to figure out what that should look like and what it was supposed to look like. And finally, literally, it actually happened in a duck blind in Mississippi. I was down there hunting with my pastor, and I was telling him about the idea, and he was like, just do it. He was like, I'll be there beside you if you got questions, just do the thing. And I was like, yeah, let's just do it. And so we decided, we literally talked about it that morning. It was a slow morning, so we had plenty of time to talk in the blind. And when we got back to town, we went to lunch, and I told him, hey, this is kind of how I think it might could go, and told him that. And he said, yeah. So he helped me put together a plan for the first meeting, and probably 10 or 12 people showed up. And I texted like 100 of my buddies, said, hey, we're going to start a weekly Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
And
But still, having 10 people show up on the first round is amazing.
Incredible, yeah. And so it was crazy, honestly, the first meeting we got in there, and I'd come up with like 5 questions I think we did at that lunch to ask, and one of them was, what's your single biggest challenge in life right now? And that was like the only question we got to. And it was for an hour. People were dudes in there crying.
Yeah.
Just from that question, because there was nothing like that in town at the
compass.
No compass. And there was just like everybody was dealing with the same struggles of just, in the artist songwriter world, there's just tons of comparison, and you get on Instagram and it's just like there's always somebody doing better than you.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the things that was talked about. But that first one, it was just like, wow, this is way more needed, and supposed to be a thing than I even thought. So we just started consistently meeting every Wednesday morning up there.
Were you consistent with it?
Yeah, and that was my biggest thing I said from the get-go, was it doesn't matter if there's 2 people here or 20 or whatever, we're just going to be consistent, and that's what's going to grow it. And so we didn't have a whole lot of people until like September of that year, 2023, and we did burgers and baptisms in the event, or in the parking lot of Sony.
So Georgia.
We had a few guys that wanted to get baptized, and so I went to Tractor Supply, bought a tub, and I'm not even going to get sidetracked down this rabbit hole, but there was like a crazy God story of how the exact amount of the cost of the baptism tub and the food, we got that money. It was nuts. So I go to Tractor Supply, bought the tub, and we baptized 3 people in the parking lot of Sony. And the next day, we had 50-something dudes in there.
Stop.
And it's, stayed bigger since. I mean, and not that it's about numbers at all, but it was cool to see. Like, that was just like a catalyst, and we probably average around 40 right now.
Is it mostly guys?
Well, right after that, I've been praying for God to send the right person to lead the women's ministry, because I felt like there was supposed to be that too.
Yep.
And sure enough, I got a text, and this girl I didn't even know, it was a publicist, Morgan Brassfield. She says, "Hey, I got your number from so-and-so, and I think I'm supposed to lead a women's version of the same thing you're doing." And I said, "Yes, you are. Let's go get coffee." And so she started that, and they meet on Tuesdays, and we meet on Wednesdays. And it's been so crazy. There's so many stories, just wild stories that have happened because of that, and just stuff that God's ordaining through that. But to get back to your main question, it was a weird time for me in my whole life, because it was the first time I'd ever been able to clearly see God working in one area, no doubt. But then as far as my artist and songwriting went, it was like nothing was going on still. And it was so obviously black and white between those two things.
Because when it's something that's of the fruit of his fruit, he will flourish it. Yeah. And it was honestly like pretty weird to live through, because it was like, I see you over here so strongly, I feel like you're not there. But during that season, though, was when I started feeling the call to write the Kingdom Country stuff. And so I started writing that. But still nothing really was happening with it. I wasn't getting any shows. There was management stuff that was just falling apart. None of the pieces were coming together. And so I'd honestly gotten to the point by this January of wondering if I was even supposed to be an artist anymore, honestly. Not that I didn't want to, but it was just so obvious God was in this and not in this thing. Yeah.
And so in January, for the first time ever, I tried a fast. And I mean, I grew up Southern Baptist. So it's in the Bible. We just don't talk about it a whole lot. And I didn't even know how to do it. I didn't know what I was doing.
Fasting is certainly not something that's spoken about as much as it should be, for sure. And we can talk about that separately as well. But
yeah,
Country Outdoors podcast is proudly presented by Nomad Outdoor. Guys, we've worked with Nomad Outdoor since the beginning of Country Outdoors, and there's a reason for that. They have the absolute best hunting apparel in the hunting industry. We have worn their clothing spring. We've worn their clothing in the fall. We've worn their clothing in the summer. We've worn their clothing on the ice. We've worn it everywhere. We absolutely love it. Guys, they're a Southeastern brand. They represent us. They represent sportsmen and women. Whether it's in the field or by the campfire, Nomad Outdoor has something for every occasion. So you'll come on, go check them out.
So yeah, I literally just was like, I'm gonna try this, and I don't even know what I'm doing. But I did a 3-day fast in January.
Did you drink and start from the beginning on the fast, like details?
So
details, Jordan.
So,
for anyone who wants to know how to do a fast.
So no one's ever even, I don't know, heard this whole story, but yeah. So I did 3 days, and I was just gonna do water or coffee. That's it. And a lot of people say you're not supposed to do coffee, but I did water and coffee. No food though. And the first morning I woke up and I remember being like, what do I do? Because I've cleared my schedule, right? And it's just 3 days to seek the Lord. I'm like, what are you supposed to do? Just read your Bible and just pray all day? I don't know how to start this. I said, well, I'll start it with worship, And so I get my coffee and water, go pull the guitar down off the wall. And my plan was to sit on the couch, sing a couple songs, and just start reading the Bible and just see what happens.
Are you still at the house with Ray?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is Ray witness to this whole thing?
No,
or is he on the road?
No, he wasn't there.
Okay.
He was gone. So yeah, I'm just sitting in our couch though, and I pull the guitar off the wall, and this song "Because He Lives" pops in my head, and I had sang that song a gazillion times growing up. But I hadn't heard it in a long time, and it was weird that song popped in my head. It's an old hymn.
Mm-hmm.
So well, maybe I'm supposed to sing that. And so I just start singing this song, and when I get to the first chorus, I just start sobbing, like uncontrollably. And it was the weirdest thing. And but it was totally from the Holy Spirit. And it was like he was just shouting at me the words of that chorus, which is, because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all fear is gone. Because I know who holds the future, and life is worth the living just because he lives. Because at that time I was really fearful of the future. Because, like I say, nothing was going on in music, and I was just my life was just a big question mark of what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And the one thing I was really seeking during that fast was, am I even supposed to be an artist, or am I just supposed to lead Row Ministries and be a writer, or not a writer at all, and just find somebody to fund Row Ministries? And maybe I was just supposed to move to Nashville for that thing.
Am I a pastor?
Exactly. I have no idea, right?
Yeah.
But I was feeling called to that type of song, so that was kind of like in the back of my mind. I do feel like music is still a part of it. And so for those 3 days, that was the craziest start to it. And then, let's see, nobody's heard this story. This is so deep, but the second day of that fast, I decided to write out a prayer, basically a letter to God. That sounds crazy, but I just, instead of just praying the same thing over my head every now and every time, I just wrote, honestly, everything I was feeling, everything I wanted to hear from, and just prayed over it, closed my Bible, put it in my Bible, went on with my day. I went to a coffee with another pastor up here, and during that coffee, he said, hey, I feel like I'm supposed to tell you this. He said, have you ever tried writing a letter to God or anything? And I was like, yeah, I did that this morning. And he just starts getting teary-eyed, and he said, I felt like I'm supposed to tell you that. He said, that's one of the most powerful things I've ever tried in my spiritual walk. He said, I can write a letter to God. I know it sounds crazy, but he said, and then I'll just get another piece of paper, and I'll sit there with a pen and just pray for the Lord to speak to me. And he said, I'll just write down what I feel like he's saying. And he said, I don't hear a voice. He said, it's not like that or anything. It's just what I sense he wants to tell me, and I'll just write it down. He said, a lot of times I know it's from him because it's just language that I don't use, you know. And so he said, try that. So I went home, felt crazy. I sit down on the couch, pull out that letter, get a blank piece of paper and a pen, and I'm like, ask God, what do you want to say to me? And it was, do not fear, my son. I love you. I'm pruning the branches for new growth. That's all it was. The next day, I got dropped from my booking agent, CAA, at that same coffee shop on 16th Avenue on Music Row. And that was the pruning of the branches. And I had been, you know, that was in my prayer was, hey, if I'm supposed to be with that booking agency, then great. If I'm not, close that door. Because I've been with them like 4 years. I wasn't getting any shows and nothing was going on. That was kind of one of the last pieces of my team I didn't feel like just didn't feel right. So, yeah, so crazy. The next day I get dropped. But I knew I had this peace about it because I'm like, clearly that's from God. And that was the next day after my fast ended. So, fast forward a couple weeks after that, my first cut as a songwriter comes out on Jordan Davis. I renew my publishing deal with just Tape Room and have a fresh deal. And a few weeks after that, Blaine, who's my publisher at Tape Room, he calls me and says, hey, Matthew West just called me and wants to talk with you about maybe possibly going out with Ann. He's just exploring that, Ann Wilson, you know, going out on tour with her. And I'm like, that's crazy. I don't know. I've never even met them, right? And so I'm pumped up. Turns out about 4 or 5 different people had all separately, without knowing of each other, called or texted Matthew and put me on his radar as somebody who might be a good fit to go out on this tour. And it was crazy how that was orchestrated by the Lord. So Matthew calls Blaine. He's like, who the heck is Jordan Rowe? Like, I've got all these people randomly, like, you know, mentioning him to me. It feels like I'm supposed to see what this is about. And long story short, he asked me to go out on tour with her this fall at the same table at the same coffee shop that I got dropped from my booking agency at like 2 months before. It's crazy, very crazy. And it's been clear ever since that Kingdom Country is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say because it's like, I hope everybody gets to have an encounter with the Holy Spirit in their life and be changed like that and just put so much comfort and confidence in your walk. And that doesn't mean you're not going to have some struggles ahead of you. But when that faith gets like completely backed up, that's such a comfort, and not everybody has had that experience.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you were put through a lot of trials to test that faith.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
absolutely
amazing.
Yeah, I've shared parts of that story, but not the whole thing like that. But it's just, it's a long story, but it's so crazy, and it's just like.
And you can't even have any like resentment or anything towards anything that didn't work out or situations, because this is exactly where he wants you to be. And there's so much comfort in that. And so I'm assuming that, so you recently got engaged, and I'm assuming this played a big part in that, right? Like you felt like, okay, so now I'm confident and comfortable in where I'm heading.
Yeah, for sure. That was, and I know everybody's different, but, you know, there were just so many question marks on life before, you know, this year, that I just wanted to be in a place where I felt like I could confidently, you know, be able to provide and, you know, take care of a family, you know. Obviously, I mean, we're, you know, it'd be a couple of years probably before we have kids or anything, but just I wanted to have, you know, see the path in front of me, you where I could take care of them and all that stuff. And I know the Lord will provide that. But yeah, that played a big part. It finally felt like everything kind of came together, and more has happened in a few months than it has the last 4 years.
Because you're now leading your life really in His vision, and that's
right.
such a good lesson in ego. And even though I know you've never been like an ego-driven person, the pursuit of one's career I fought through that a lot myself. And you and I have had the conversation before off camera about our camper fire and what I think I told you this at Dylan's barbecue, but like when we had our camper fire, our RV burned. So for anyone watching, I had been praying for a long time because I was now, I'd had a lot of pursuits that were successful. I was now in Nashville. I had this company that was doing well and all of these things, but like I could feel that something wasn't on track as to fulfilling God's purpose for my life. And I was praying a lot for Him to show me how to use the gifts that He's given me to glorify His kingdom. And I was now doing our show in Nashville, the Writers Round, which was successful. We had all this success during the pandemic, blah, 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 but there was something missing. And our camper burned while we're on the road. And one of the only things that survived was my Bible. And I knew, I said to Zach, go back in, because he walked in and he said, nothing's left. And I said, please go back in and check again. And next to the bed was my Bible, which is a leather Bible with paper pages, and it was intact. And that to me was the sign. And so our first show back after that was a show that we were playing with Shenandoah as the headliner, and Marty is a huge man of God. And they prayed backstage, and none of them knew about what had happened to us, and I was keeping it all very low key. Before I went on stage, I said to God, show me how to glorify you with what you've given me. And I was like, when you were fighting, trying to for the how to start Row Ministries, and you're thinking, how do I do it? How do I do it? It was the same thing. And I was thinking, I have to do this huge gesture, and I didn't know how to do this gesture to glorify God with my gifts. And all I heard was, just go on stage and bless the food. And I heard that was the Spirit telling me, bless the food. And I thought, well, of course, I thought I had to do this huge gesture, but it was, you've got a room full of people sitting here waiting to listen to music. This is fellowship. Just go and bless the food. And so I walked on stage and heard Him say that to me. I don't even remember what the prayer was that I said. I know I blessed the food. I can tell you that show, I had every person afterwards coming up and saying, you have no idea how much I needed this. And it was the biggest, it was, it's a scary thing to be in front of 400 people blessing food that you've never met, when you're in a town that's full of a lot of non-believers and there's all that stuff. And I was like, it was amazing. And so after that was the reinforcement, and I've had a couple instances where the Holy Spirit has spoken to me like that. So it's a great thing. Yeah.
It's all. Speaking of Marty, I'm opening for them on Thursday night.
Stop.
I've never met them, so I'm excited.
Oh, you're okay. Well, when you see them, mention this story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Text me afterwards and let me know.
And it's so crazy. I feel like I've seen that a lot of times where a Bible survives a fire or a tornado or something like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And I carry that Bible with me everywhere. It doesn't smell like smoke anymore. It's crazy.
That's cool.
Molly was playing with it the other day, and Zach was like, she's going to rip the pages. And I'm like, that Bible survived a fire.
Yeah.
That thing is fine. It's not going anywhere. But your parents must be so proud of you. I can only imagine, right?
They are.
What did they say throughout this whole journey? Okay, so Jordan's from Adel, Georgia, big Southern boy, grew up in the countryside. We had the honor of hanging out with him and turkey hunting with him during the pandemic, actually, at his hometown. He's got great community around him. But your parents are very strong believers. You've been raised in a solid household. You've been through your own trials with your family and, all that stuff. as well. But so obviously your parents have been tested in their faith a lot too, and for them to see how you've come out and gone through this, like what were the conversations in your household?
They were fully supportive. I told them this is kind of what I'm doing, and they were trying to wrap their heads around the explanation of it and all of the new vision and direction. But once I explained it, they were all on board, and excited about it, and they've, seen some cool things happen too, and there've been like some cool God stories even down there to give them assurance about it and everything. And so it's been cool. They've definitely been supportive. And
so have you had any backlash from anyone in Nashville from like the other side?
No. There's definitely been like, I guess, pessimism about whether it'll work or not.
Country, like a fairly new genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's a totally new thing. And there have been
is it created through you, or so? Because I hadn't heard of the term Kingdom Country until you had started talking about it.
Yeah, it being called Kingdom Country, I'm not the first artist to do that, but I guess Ann Wilson is kind of maybe the first artist to tap into that, and she's been breaking down a lot of doors, to kind of introduce it in a way too, and so, but yeah, it's this whole new thing, where it's country music. It's a lot of country language, country sounds, but it's just more faith heavy on the topic. Mm-hmm. And you've had songs like I Saw God Today or Three Wooden Crosses or Long Black Train. You've had those before, but they've always been like number 11 on the album or whatever.
Right.
I don't think anybody's tried to make a career out of songs that sound like they could be on the radio, but they're, Kingdom Country. And so it's this untapped thing. But what is super cool is over the last, year or so, I've seen all the different pieces be put on the chessboard to make this thing happen. And there's artists being called, there's songwriters being called. I've had probably 3 or 4 different label heads tell me that they've been feeling like they're supposed to start whole imprints for this thing. I've had people, believers in radio, who have made, and they've even started taking action to try to get this stuff out there more and create whole spaces for it. And so what's cool is if you zoom out, you can clearly see how the Lord is just doing a whole thing in Nashville right now.
Revival.
Yeah, honestly. And it's cool. He's making a way for this stuff.
At the same time as the enemy is also attacking.
Oh, yeah.
Which, we know because he got kicked out of heaven. Mm-hmm. But for being the choir master. But, what is your perception of the spiritual battle that's going on in the music industry at the moment? And you can go in whatever direction you want with this, but like I've had, with the influence of pop coming into country and people,
Well, it's a lot. There's definitely a lot of warfare going on there for sure. And I will say, I have to speak for me personally, like when I started, to say yes to Row Ministries and yes to Kingdom Country, I've never been beat on from the enemy like I had when those things started to happen.
So for give me that example.
Well, just the attacks you feel personally from just stuff, just whatever
anxiety
could go wrong. Oh my gosh, yes. I'll tell you, I'll give you a prime example was Tori and I. We meet every Wednesday morning. Well, for several weeks, and I'd recognized this pattern after a few weeks, but for several weeks, every Wednesday morning, Tori and I would get in a little argument as I'm getting ready to leave to go do the Music Row Ministries, or either on the way there or whatever. And it was after a few weeks, I realized this is happening every Wednesday morning. I said, this is trying to get my head out of the place to be able to go in here and you know, lead this group. And it was so obvious. And so I told her that. We recognized that. We prayed over that, and it hasn't been a thing since. But it was, I mean, there was a string there where it was so obvious. That's just one thing. But yeah, I would say it's very prevalent. And that's because art and music, that influences culture more than anything.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that's why our presidential candidates are getting people to make TikTok trends, because they know that's more influential than anything right now. It's crazy. And so, like you say, and the devil was a music director in heaven, right? And so it's way up there on the list of things. And what's so crazy for an artist to wrap our head around, and it's this tug-of-war thing of your goal as a mainstream artist at the end of the day is to make the world love you. But
you're not to be of the
Bible
world.
says that the world will hate you.
Yeah.
So if you are a true born-again believer trying to live that out, but you're also a completely mainstream artist, your whole life is intention. Because your goal is to try to make the world love you, but it says it will not.
Yep.
So that's, you know, if you take a step back and look at that, you're like, wow.
Zach, myself, and the Country Outdoors family are proud to have Hawk Optics as a sponsor. When it comes to clarity, precision, and overall quality of the product, we have found Hawk Optics to be top of the line and field tested their products year round and had great success. You can check out this example here on the screen of my recent Colorado elk hunt, where I harvest this monster bull elk using the Frontier 30 SF hooked up onto my fix from Q. All right, guys, I have a confession to make. I have a terrible sense of direction, and it's no wonder I haven't got lost in the woods or eaten by a bear at this stage, but there's a reason for that, and it's because I have Onyx Hunt. Onyx Hunt is incredible. It's an incredible mapping feature, and it has helped me navigate my way out of some pretty sketchy areas using the compass feature. I've been able to get back to my truck. I've been able to drop pins and waypoints to be able to coordinate how to get to A to B, to be able to find that turkey that I saw on the road and knock and get permission. Guys, though, if you really want to know who's a fanatic at dropping pins, it's my husband, Zach. If you look in his phone, he has thousands of these pins. If it was the 1920s, he'd be able to trade them and get some money out of them. But don't take my opinion. Go and download Onyx today and check it out for yourself. Good luck this fall.
So it's a constant, checking in on, and like, I mean, we go through the same thing with like Country Outdoors in our show, and like same thing with social media and all of these things, because everything now is about numbers and blah, 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 and all of this. And we have the conversation in our home a lot, is to prey on the anxiety and come back to it and see like what is truly of his fruit and what are you chasing for self, and checking back in.
Yeah.
And constant, I'm sure, for you.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Constantly. And it's so important. Yeah, the more, it's weird. I had this, you know, Casey Beathard.
Yeah.
I wrote with him yesterday for the first time, and I've looked up to him a long time.
Yeah.
On music accolades wise, but more so, you know, his whole story, and it's just such a powerful testimony. And we talked about these same things for a while before we wrote, and we were talking about trying to find the balance of cease striving and know that I'm God, but also not being lazy, and not, you know, and the balance between cease striving but also going out and chasing and pursuing what you feel like you're called to do.
Totally.
But it's funny, like, you know, we both agreed that it feels like the more you sit back and go hands off, do what you want, the more it happens.
Right.
And so this is a weird, delicate balance of that that I'm trying to figure out too. But yeah, it's a lot of pulling back and forth. But once I stepped into Kingdom Country and quit just doing country, it took a lot of the pressure off.
Yeah.
Because then it's like I'm not doing it for me anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so with every song that's put out, with every video that's posted on Instagram or whatever, you're just, I literally
you're like, take
do with
this
this
and
what
do
you
what
want.
you want. Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, frees you up.
Do you think, well, he's coming back, but do you think Jesus is coming back sooner than we think?
I have no idea. We talked about this last week in our group because, I mean, all the stuff that's going on, it's, you know, we had guys asking that. But there's a verse, and I can't remember where it is off the top of my head. I think it's in Matthew somewhere, maybe chapter 24, somewhere in there, where it says that even Jesus doesn't know. It says only the Father knows.
Yeah.
But the Son doesn't know when that time is. And I told them, if Jesus don't know, then y'all need to quit trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because we ain't going to figure it out.
But the seas are actually dying, and
right. I mean, it's like,
I go through my little checklist.
But too, if you think about it, like, if you go back to World War II,
yeah,
and put your head in
what they were
that
thinking,
perspective, they probably thought they had done missed the rapture. You know what I mean? And so if you kind of look at it, there's so many points in history where worse stuff was going on than this, and probably Christians were like, "Oh, it's happening soon," and you know. But our soon and God's soon is totally different.
It's very true.
You know, so I think it's 2 Peter 3:8 maybe. It says 1,000 years on earth as is one day in heaven. So his soon and my soon, totally different things.
Our souls are just tired down here, God. We just want to come up there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's like that Oliver Anthony song, I Want to Go Home. Yeah. You heard that one? Oh, it's like he's essentially saying, like, I don't know if people are praying anymore. And he's like, Lord, I want to come home. Mm-hmm. And the first time I heard that song, I was like, oh, I feel like that. I feel like my soul sometimes is just like an old dog that just wants to, like, go home and be with his mom and dad, you know, and just be like, back home. I'm tired.
Well, you know, and we talked about this yesterday, but that Paul calls us aliens. He says we're citizens of heaven. Yeah. We're aliens to this earth. And, and the closer you get to the Lord and the older you get, the more you feel like an alien here. Yeah. And, you know, but I try to take the mindset. I mean, I glance at the news, but I try not to just get bogged down in it. And just, I don't know when the Lord's coming back. I mean, he is one day, but that's for him to know. And our job right now is to just love him, love people. Yeah. And
be forgiving.
Yeah. And, you know, but also stand up for the truth.
Well, and that's, more than ever. I feel like that's the battle that we're in, is like, and there has been a big shift in, I think, poster children for Jesus in entertainment now, just like being, like, speaking out, and like we've seen over the last couple of years with Sound of Freedom. And I mean, from when you moved to Nashville, from when I moved to Nashville, when I moved here 8 years ago, no one was talking about how much they love Jesus, and they weren't like, it was like, even like hunting and fishing and everything. It was like, no, we're not meant to talk about that. We just have to talk about just the music. And like, there has been over that period, over a 10-year period, a huge shift in both spectrums. I feel like it's gone like kind of a little more extreme either way.
100%.
Not a kinda, a lot of little.
100%, yeah. I truly believe that the more time passes, the clearer it will be which side you're on.
For sure.
Both ways.
Well, so speaking of God and the things that we love, while we are down here, we get the gift of his creation. So let's talk about hunting and the fall. So last time we had you on Country Outdoors was 2021, maybe. Oh, no, 2020. It was 2020.
I think it was 2020. It was
just before it was 4 years ago. Gosh, so much has happened.
Yeah.
And since then, like, your like hunting career has developed a lot. You obviously grew up hunting and fishing and all that. He's got some really good largemouth bass down there. But
I'll be catching tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
You going home?
Going down there tomorrow. Yeah. Nice. After we get done with our group, I'm going down. So
love it.
Hopefully.
So tell us your plans for the fall and just a little bit about like how you find God in the woods.
So for the fall, doing 28 dates with Ann, starting September 12th through, I think, November 17th. And so that doesn't free up a whole lot of weekends.
But can you plan spots around your hunts?
Well, I'm going to try to do that. Yeah. And then I've got October, I think the third weekend in October, that was our one free weekend. And I'm going to Iowa. So pumped with Larry McCoy.
Did you draw a tag?
I did.
Landowner tag.
Wait,
I don't understand. Because Jordan? I drew my Iowa tag this year because I have 5 points.
Yeah.
So I've been putting in for 5 years. So how does one just acquire an Iowa tag? Are you rifle hunting?
No, I'm bow hunting. But so I'd actually, matter of fact, when y'all were at my house hunting turkeys in 2020, Zach told me about the preference points. Like, you need to get a preference. And I did. And I started buying them then. But Larry said that one of his friends up there wanted me to play a show for him. And so there's somebody that owns venue or something was like a senator up there. And they got a governor's tag.
An Iowa tag.
And so that's the payment for the show is to go hunt. So I'm like, deal. I'm in. So I'm just flying up there doing an acoustic show and hunting a few days.
You know what that is, though, right?
Oh,
you understand.
100%. Yeah. Everybody hates me when I tell them.
I don't hate you. I'm excited for you. I hope you shoot a huge deer. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you know that I've been putting in for 5 years and I'll be up there at the same time. Hopefully we both shoot big Iowa deer this season.
Absolutely.
So do you know where, like, what zone you're hunting in or anything?
I want to say it's Mac.
And do you know when you're going up? Because we might be up there at the same time.
Let me look.
I can't wait until I tell Zach that you
October, like 23 to 27, somewhere in there.
That's pretty close to when I'm going to be there.
Is that when you're there?
Yeah.
Hang on, let me see.
We might be. Lord,
hey,
let Jordan and I both shoot booners in the same week.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Maxburg.
I don't know where that is, but we're going to be up there at the same week, so we need to stay in touch on that because that would be. Yeah. What if we shoot bucks on the same day and then we can get buck photos?
West, kind of.
That's amazing. Well, I'm happy for you. Yeah, show me where. So we've got our trail cameras out right now. So I drew Iowa. Zach and I both drew Kansas as well. So we've got a big year.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so we have cameras scattered across there and then also in Colorado for elk. So we're just constantly.
Yeah, south, central kind of.
We're okay, hold on. Do you know the town that I'm hunting in? Where's Zach? Where's Zach when we need him?
I'm so pumped. Yeah, well, maybe we'll be close enough.
We're going to be up there around the same time.
Yeah.
I think we're around the same area.
That's awesome.
Because it's definitely south central because we were on the kind of cusp of Missouri.
Well, y'all are. We need to partner up on that show.
Yep.
Get y'all like host a show or something. And
if we're close to each other, we can get some double buck photo or
something. Yes, let's do it. Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so you got Iowa. That's a big one. Like, that's kind of like a focus for the fall then.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of the big trip, if you will.
For sure.
But I've been messaging back and forth a little bit with Ben Rising. I don't know if you know Ben at Whitetail Edge. They're mostly out of Illinois.
Okay.
So might get to stop in there if it's, works out logistically. It just depends because I'm just hopping on the bus with them because it's just duo acoustics. And me and another guitar player, we're just riding along with them.
Nice.
So we're kind of like.
Well, that's good too, that it's not like it's like low, what do you call it? Low setup. Like not hectic.
Yeah. No, it's easy. So that kind of frees me up to, I could catch a flight up there and then meet the bus or whatever and not have a whole lot of gear. So hoping maybe can do Illinois too.
What about you and your dad? You doing your Kentucky?
So we're going to Kentucky. Yeah. So we'll do our November rifle hunt in Kentucky like we do every year.
You guys have been doing that for how long?
Since 21, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've shot nice deer every year.
We've got 3 out of 4 years. We've got a good one. So got a pretty good batting average, but hopefully we can. Not shooting
any of Ray's velvet deer this year?
No, I haven't seen a big one back there yet, but I did plant a food plot like right in our neighborhood.
Really?
In the corner of another spot. So hopefully go down there too.
Jordan actually has not surprisingly, you kind of like Mo Pitney has the same thing, and I feel like sometimes people just have a lifeline to God when it comes to the outdoors, when it comes to the woods. Like Mo was hunting with us, and he was like, me and my wife are going to double up this time, and they literally did. So I feel like you're kind of like that too a little bit. Jordan has very good luck in the woods a lot of the time. Hopefully I don't jinx you on this one.
Yeah, don't be saying that now. They're knocking on some wood.
It's hard to shoot deer in the Nashville area, like close to town, but Jordan shot essentially a neighborhood velvet like 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like 40 yards from the house? Not even?
Maybe a little more, but not far.
Like just very, very lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I Seek One kind of opened my eyes to the possibility of hunting urban areas like that. Yeah. And so that was kind of the first time I had tried that, and it was awesome. It was fun. Yeah. So that's kind of, I don't get to do a whole lot of it. Just so busy on the road and stuff. I wish I had more time to pour into it.
There's a season for everything.
But that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. So we've got Iowa, Illinois, Kentucky with Dad. That's going to keep you pretty busy.
Yeah, for sure. And then, some, like over Christmas, I'll be down in Georgia, so get to hunt around home. Yeah. Then, and then we're doing Thanksgiving up at Tori's family, which is on the Wisconsin-Illinois border. So I've got to pick whether I want to do Wisconsin or Illinois. We'll see. I got permission on the Illinois spot when we were up there a few weeks ago and put out a camera. I haven't got anything crazy yet, but we'll see.
I'll get some squeaky cheese if you go over to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's also where Jeffrey Dahmer's from, so you're kind of risking it all. Yeah, either way.
That's wild. Yeah. But I'll be up there, one of the two on Thanksgiving. So
are you guys now like heavy into wedding planning, or are you pumping the brakes a bit on that, or how's that all going?
Well, so luckily the place we're doing it at is they handle pretty much everything. They've got everything there, so we don't have to bring in all the things. That helped me a lot because, I won't be here a lot in the fall to help plan with that. So we just got to do like 1 3-hour meeting, pick out what color chairs and napkins, which I have zero preference on,
Yeah. Simple.
Yeah, it's going to taste the same no matter what color plate I'm eating off of. So
do we have a date?
April 25th. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's good.
Friday night. Yeah. So we figured that'd be good for everybody coming into town because they can just get the wedding out of the way, do whatever they want the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, and most importantly, it's the beginning of turkey season, but it's not like you've still got some time around.
Right. It's Friday night, so you can kill one Friday morning.
That's it. You can tack it around that. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. I love that.
I want to get all my groomsmen to go hunt that morning. I don't know if I can pull it off, but
that would be great.
That would be really cool if we could do that.
I love that. We've been to a wedding before where all the groomsmen shotguns. Well, it was actually Ryan Rankin's wedding.
Okay.
So that one, and they gave Mackenzie a buckload, so that was hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
And then, so Zach's thing is when he dies, he says he wants to get cremated and put into shotgun shells so everybody has one last hunt for him.
Oh my gosh. That's kind of cool. That's pretty cool idea.
Yeah. He's like, one more turkey hunt on me.
That's awesome. I love that. That's so cool. I might steal that, Zach.
There you go. Yeah. You'll have to put that in your wedding vows to Victoria.
Yeah.
By the way.
That's pretty cool.
That's
I've never
awesome.
heard of that. That's cool.
So, okay, the future's looking good then. You're feeling good. Everything's pretty positive.
Mm-hmm.
You're feeling centered.
Yeah. Feeling like I'm trying to keep my head above water right now with everything, but all good stuff.
Good busy.
Good busy. Got a lot of exciting things, and just trying to still put together the team as far as like management and labeling, all that kind of stuff goes. But now we're on the right path. I know God's got this, and so it just frees you up to just go.
Well, I have like a really important question though, because it's kind of a sad question, but how does Ray feel about the bromance getting broken up? Like, essentially, you're going to have to move out, right?
Yeah.
When you get married, or is Victoria moving in?
Yeah. No.
So,
Ray actually said, like, y'all can't just move in. Like,
okay, so Jordan has lived with Ray Fulcher. And for those of you who don't know who Ray is a great artist, an incredible songwriter. And the two of them have lived together since Jordan moved to town, right? And Ray's another Georgia boy.
Yeah.
And, like, that's going to be sad.
The end of an era. Yeah.
The end of it. You're really growing up, Jordan.
I know.
Do you think you'll find another roommate?
No, just Tori now. So. Oh, you talking about him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I doubt it.
Time for Ray to like get into dad mode. We all know Ray is dying to be a dad too. Like, he's going to be such a dad, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
So he's going to have to step up dad mode.
For sure. But yeah, we'll still hang. We'll keep our 9 a.m. every other Monday rights at the house. So I'll go over there. I told him we got to keep that. It's got to be It's gonna be a bit of a sad. It will.
Farewell.
It absolutely will. Yeah. That's gonna be a lonely house. There's like nobody there.
He's gonna have to get a dog or something for when he comes home.
Oh yeah.
You might maybe that's what you should buy him as a farewell present, a puppy.
I don't know. Is he in there enough to take care of it?
But he can take it on the road. Is he in a Sprinter van or what?
Yeah, mostly a Sprinter van.
You need to get him like a little dog or something. Some sort of a pet or a teddy bear or something.
You take that up with his tour manager. He's going to be like, heck no.
What do people give as breakup presents?
Country Outdoors is thrilled to have partnered with Moultrie Mobile. This fall is an extremely busy fall for us. We've just been out in Colorado elk hunting, and now I have my Iowa tag that I drew, and Zach and I both drew Kansas, which means we're going to be scattered all across the country. So we've done the same with our cameras this season. That means we can get the intel in the field when we aren't there. As you guys know, when it comes to those big bucks in the Midwest, as soon as they pop out, you want to get out there as quick as you can. And because of Moultrie's crystal clear images and videos and the ability to connect to all 4 US cellular networks, you're never going to have to worry about getting those images and videos when you need them. The app is also loaded with amazing features like weather, mapping, and buck prediction in the game plan feature. Get an edge with the Moultrie Edge 2 series cameras and the Moultrie mobile app. When you think of the biggest hunting shows, the most legendary hunting shows in outdoor television, what channel do you think of? Outdoor Channel. Country Outdoors is very proud of our partnership with Outdoor Channel, which started during the pandemic in 2020 with our Turkey tour, which has now evolved into a popular adventure series 4 years later. We are available on all Outdoor Channel digital outlets, including My Outdoor TV. And guys, they're giving out a free subscription to My Outdoor TV, so go and check it out.
Okay, we got to Google. Let's just Google before you leave a best breakup present that you can give to comfort somebody.
I don't know.
Let's look up.
Probably a couple extra months rent.
Hey Google, what? Oh no, Siri. Oh yeah, a couple extra months. What is a good breakup present to make somebody feel comfort?
Chocolate. He's gonna need some chocolate and roses.
You get a breakup kit. There's a breakup kit.
What's a breakup kit?
It's We're Not Really Strangers breakup kit. I don't know. It's some sort of you could get him a best friend charms.
I don't know.
You could do best friend charms.
It's getting a little weird.
You could get him a weighted stress ball that has your name on it, the Jordan weighted stress ball. So it's like a love heart weighted stress ball that he wears, and it's the Jordan ball.
I don't know about
Maybe not balls,
either.
but like.
I don't want him squeezing a ball with my name on it, you know? It's got It's getting weird.
What else? Gifts for breakup. You could get him bath salts that are custom bath salts. The Jordan
takes
bath.
A bath.
It's getting a little.
He showers, but he don't take a bath. Maybe just some golf balls,
Oh, Jordan balls. Why is everything leading back to balls? This is the thing, though. Okay, we're gonna get you some custom Jordan golf balls with your face on it. So it can hit your face because he's going to be so salty that you're leaving that you broke it up.
Plan.
Yeah, okay.
I like that.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys will have to watch this space for Ray taking out some rage on Jordan's face on the golf course.
Absolutely.
Love it. Well, before you leave, Ty's got a couple images. You've got to say what it is.
Okay.
And I will as he shows them to us.
Say what it is?
Yeah.
Just, okay.
And then I'm going to say what it is as well. Okay?
Oh, I see where we're going with this. I'm like, okay, tinfoil.
Aluminum.
Weed eater.
Whippersnipper.
Boxers.
Knickers.
What?
Knickers.
Gas station.
Servo.
A semi. With his hood up.
A truck with his bonnet open.
Kleenex.
Tissue.
Well, I mean, yeah, tissue too.
Tissue for your issue.
Biscuit.
Scone.
A scone? I ain't never heard that one. This is getting out of
Oh,
hand.
Georgia boy ain't know what a scone is.
You better be careful
Well, you
with
put
the
some-
boxers one.
Yeah.
Biscoffs. Ain't that a Biscoff?
Oh, we call them bickies, but yeah, usually
I love Biscoffs, man. I love
Okay,
Biscoffs.
usually, let's say, this is a thing, Americans call things by the brand. It's
Yeah.
a weird thing, right?
That's
Like
true,
Kleenex, tissue, Biscoff, biscuit.
Right?
Yeah.
Or Coke. Some
Yeah,
people
like
call it
you'll
a
go,
Sprite
I'll
of
go get a
Coke.
Coke.
Yeah.
And you're like, a soft drink? We call them soft drinks in Australia.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No shot.
There
Just
you go.
Coke. Across the board.
Oh, my gosh.
That's
Well, thank you
funny.
so much for stopping by, Jordan.
Thank
It's been
you.
great to catch up.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It has been good.
Yeah.
I thought Zach was going to be here, too. You got to tell him I'm disappointed. He's
So-
sitting in Mississippi fishing on his new river.
He's sitting
Just
on the
living the
river
life.
fishing. He sent to my neighbor's group chat that he is a single dad for the week,
Oh, that's
which
great.
means this is what Zach does. He either says, oh, so I'm babysitting. And I'm like, it's not really babysitting when it's your kid, or he's a single dad for the week. And I'm like, so does that mean I'm a single mum for the week while I'm in Nashville?
Hey, he's down there planting his ashes in his shotgun shells thing. You know?
Zach is in his
Have
tidy
y'all-
whities eating ice cream.
In his what?
Tidy whities.
No.
In his knickers.
That's right.
He's in his knickers eating ice cream. That's right.
What's that restaurant?
Whippersnipping in his knickers.
With his bonnet open
Yeah, exactly.
on the side of the road.
Letting rain get in the
What
hood.
is that restaurant, though, downtown? We went there with the Mossio guys. It's like it's the best steak.
Anthony's.
Anthony's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come down there
Mm-hmm.
and see y'all's place. I want to go to Anthony.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, okay. So before you leave, Jordan, dates on the road, music, where can everybody come and catch you?
Fall tour is pretty much nationwide. So anybody can kind of get kind of close to those, hopefully, and those dates are on my Instagram page. It's a pin post right there, and then tickets, you can get those on Ann Wilson's website. And then new music is coming out. I've got one coming out Friday, actually,
Yay.
called Boots in It.
Love it.
And then we've got another one coming out later this year, and that will be on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, anywhere you can listen to music. And then all socials are at Jordan Rowe Music across the board. So
Love it.
y'all check it out.
Yep, guys, go and catch him on the road. Thank you, Jordan.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having me.
you.
Enjoyed it.